Howdy Twitchies, we have been playing Deadlock for over 1 year now, and the game has changed like crazy since we started playing. So we're going to go over some changes that have been happening in Deadlock over the last year, from artwork to gameplay to itemization, and we're going to be talking about how the channel has changed and how it's going to be changing moving forward. So let's Twitch into it. Right off the bat, getting into it, if we go a year ago in Deadlock, this is what the game looked like. That is right, folks. This is what the lanes used to look like. There was 4 lanes back in the early days of Deadlock. This was the original concept. There was going to be 4 lanes where you had 2 players in each of the middle lanes and then solo players on both of your side lanes. You can see the unfinished artwork here. Absolutely no textures, absolutely no colors on anything, just gray walls all over the place. But you can also see some similarities here. You've still got the nice candle minions. You've still got fundamentally some of the same kits on these early characters here, with like Infernus and McGinnis here in this middle lane against Ivy and Wraith. So some of those hero kits haven't changed that much, but just looking at the map, you can see from an artwork perspective how much the game has changed, and fundamentally going from 4 lanes to 3 lanes had a massive effect on the game. Moving right into modern day Deadlock, you can kind of see how the mid lane here has turned out now that it's actually filled in. It is no longer gray. They've kind of figured out the artwork style that they want in Deadlock, and you can see how it has changed. You've got the giant bridge here now. You've got all of the minions, which are basically the same, but also the UI changes to the game. You can see all around the different UI changes that have been made, going from old Deadlock now to modern Deadlock. And the crazy part is that the game is still so deep into an alpha, and we've seen such massive artwork changes already to the game, particularly just in fleshing out the world itself, but also in the form of UI and the characters getting remodels and all that stuff. So from an artwork perspective, the game has just moved so far forward in 1 year's time, which is really not that long of a time. Going back into the Deadlock of old, a lot of people may not even remember this, but if you look down in the bottom left-hand corner, you're going to notice that the itemization looks a whole lot different. And that's because the way that items are built in Deadlock has been fundamentally changed over the last year of gameplay. Originally, you could only buy 4 items of each type. So you could get 4 gun items, 4 spirit items, and 4 health items. And then you would get 4 flex slots that you would unlock as you played the game. Same kind of way that, God, look at that item store UI. How beautiful is that, bro? You would unlock 4 flex slots that you could use for any items, kind of in similar manners that you did now, slaying Guardian, slaying Warden, slaying the Walkers, that kind of thing. So similar style there, but the exact amount of objectives that need to be slain have changed over the years. But this specific play style, where you had to do a pure flex build every single game, you had to buy 4, 4, and 4, sounds in theory okay, and I think at the time it was fine, but in actuality what it did was it vastly limited your build capabilities, and it vastly limited your abilities to make your own personal builds and to flex your own fun, because basically what happened is it forced you into buying the most meta of items. Think right now how strong an item like Debuff Remover is, or Counter Spell, or like items that you buy Enduring Speed, items that you buy on basically every character, right? Or you could buy them on every character. Those items were just the, 3 out of 4 items that you bought. So basically everybody was running around with the exact same build because everybody was limited in the exact same fashion. So moving from those 4 limited slots in each individual itemization into just build whatever you want and you can do your own thing, I think is so good for the game. I am always a fan of putting more power in the hands of the players, even though it does make balancing more difficult. So moving back into our modern Deadlock, if you look back down at the itemization UI, you can see how it works nowadays. You just build the items that you have. There is less total item slots now in Deadlock. There used to be 16 because it was 4, 4, 4, and then 4 flex. Nowadays, it is just 12 items that you can buy, but you can buy any 12 items that you want and mix and match them any single way. This version of itemization is so much better. It does make it more overwhelming for the player as a new player. You can also see the modern store compared to the old store item and the old store icons. I probably will bring that back up too after this because I think it's so funny to look at. But being able to build any item you want is more overwhelming for new players. So it does mean that if you're playing your first couple of games of Deadlock, there is less guardrails for you, which is concerning for new players. So we do have to make sure that the new player onboarding process is as nice as it can be. Things like making sure the tutorials are good, making sure content creators are doing guides and helping people get those builds out there. There is, of course, the in-game build system, which helps a ton. But going immediately into a game where you can build 8 items from any combination of any item in the game is more overwhelming than okay, you can only buy 4 items of this type and 4 items of this type, right? So we do have to be wary of that new player experience. Had to go back and look at this itemization UI from back in the day. Look how simple this is. So funny to me. All of the items essentially look exactly the same. And this was the game that we were playing a year ago and having an absolute great time. You can see certain items like the Boundless Spirit down here still kind of have the same little icon now that's just been kind of reworked into being more visually pleasing. But this was the entire build system in the item store, was basically just these little blocks of hey, this is an item and good luck with figuring out what it does. I do like that they've tried to keep the actives knockdown and curse. You've still got the same fundamental icons, but they've evolved in such a way that's much more pleasing to the eye. It's much more easy to understand visually, and I like that they've kind of kept a lot of this heart from Deadlock from the early days while just updating it all to be a much more usable and readable UI. Going back into the old Deadlock again, one of the things I think that some people to this day still wish was around a little bit was the 4 lanes. I myself don't particularly have a preference between 4 lanes and 3 lanes, which I think is funny. A lot of people feel strongly one way or the other. I do think that the way the game has been developed currently really is based around those 3 lanes. But those 4 lanes did come with the caveat of having 2 solo lanes. The way that a classic MOBA has a duo lane, but also a solo lane, right? If you think League of Legends having their top lane, something like that. That's kind of the way that Deadlock was originally formed, where you had solo players on the side. So characters like Geist, who could really go over there and just solo, were really well. While in the middle lanes, you might put yourself like a carry plus a support player. It changed the play style of Deadlock drastically when they removed those lanes. But I do think that overall, it was healthier for the game and the development as well. And honestly, and this is just a personal preference thing, I do enjoy the teamwork aspect of MOBAs. It's one of the reasons why I enjoy playing them. At their heart, they are a team game. In playing a team game, I used to be a pro player in Smite. I played a lot of support, and so I always was in a duo lane with my ADCs. Having a partner that you're working with in the laning phase, having somebody that you're communicating with and trying to outplay with, for me, that's what makes video games more fun. So having 3 lanes where you're all duo queuing together, for me, that's a better way to continue the development of the game, even though it is, of course, a little bit more MOBA normal and not quite breaking the norms as much. Another thing to consider as well over the last year of Deadlock is when Deadlock launched, it had 21 playable characters, and now there are 32 playable characters in the game, with rumors of us getting quite a few more in the December patch. Some people have said that we're going to get 2 heroes, 4 heroes. Some people are saying as crazy as 6. I doubt we get 6 heroes in one patch, but the concept of us getting 4 heroes I think is totally reasonable, considering the way that they did the release of the last patch with all the new heroes as well, which means that we're basically on a schedule, even though it doesn't feel like it because they've released these heroes in bunches, right? They're not usually coming out one at a time. It's here's 3 heroes at one time. We're basically getting a new hero every single month of development in Deadlock, which is a very solid pace of development. This isn't like a, Overwatch 2 situation where they're porting over a character. They're making all of these characters just for scratch for the game, right? This is Deadlock. There's no Deadlock 2. So they're all starting from scratch from this. So the pace of development means that they constantly are turning over heroes in the background. We know that there's been a lot of heroes in the testing that have never made it into the actual game itself. So going ahead and adding that many heroes to Deadlock in that time, it ends up being somewhere around like one hero every 1.5 months. But if we do get a new batch of heroes here in December, it's going to come out almost, I think, exactly to one hero per month since the game has come out into its early access publicly playable form, which is a crazy pace of hero releases. Then, of course, we would be remiss not to mention the entire Hideout area. None of this existed a year ago. You would just log into a screen and you would click the play button, and that was it. Now you've got this entire Hideout area to run around in. They've got all sorts of Easter eggs around here. They've done all sorts of interactive events like the voting in here. They've had all the new heroes around the map with these shadows. They've got the full-blown testing area, the itemization. You can go into the old sandbox like there used to be right there, so they didn't even lose that aspect. Little mini games with the ball and the kitty cat with the lasers from Vindicta. All sorts of just little things that help the world feel more alive and help get you more into it. And I do actually think that just having this little lobby area is important because it makes the game just feel more immersive. It lets you look out the window and feel like Deadlock is a real place, because we all know that New York doesn't really exist. Now into an area of the game that is supposed to get a massive rework as we head into the December patch, guys. We've got the patron area. You can see here some of the original patron area. No color, no colors, no nothing, but like the actual little balls of the patrons still the same here. This entire area is supposed to get reworked with massive new artwork, massive new layouts of the bases in order to make pushes more difficult, and you can still see that the end screen after all this time has essentially remained the same as well, which I find fun. So I expect some new UI to be coming towards like the end screen as well as we move forward with Deadlock, as they keep revamping their UIs and making everything more beautiful. Here you can actually see a leaked picture of supposedly the private Deadlock server where you can see the rework of the patron room. And I mean, if this is anywhere close to accurate, wouldn't that just be crazy to go from the old gray blob of a room all the way to this basically at the end of a 1-year period? I mean, absolutely beautiful. Before we transition into some of the stuff that has changed over the channel for the last year and some of the stuff that's going to be changing moving forward, let me know down in the comments what your favorite changes to Deadlock have been over the last year. Maybe something I didn't mention in this video that I forgot. So for those that have been watching the channel for a long time, you guys know that I've been doing content full-time for over a decade, somewhere near 12, 13 years now, and that was entirely Smite the whole time that we did this. We did pro in Smite, we did content creation in Smite, the whole 9 yards, and then eventually when the transition to Smite 2 came, I switched over to Deadlock instead because I just lost faith in Hi-Rez as a company, and it just wasn't my thing anymore as Deadlock became playable. And to me, Deadlock was the true version. It was the true Smite 2, which always kind of made me laugh. But this is basically what I wanted out of a modern version of Smite. You still have that classic view behind the character, right? You've got all of the abilities, all of the MOBA aspects, but combined with all of the smooth movement that comes from games like Apex Legends, and it gives you that feel of fluidity. The servers are great. My ping is never like above 30. I almost never have any server issues. I press a button and it just always goes off. Doesn't mean that Deadlock doesn't have its bugs and stuff, but for me as a gamer, this was the feeling that I got when I first started playing Smite is the feeling that I first got when I started playing Deadlock, and that's why I knew it was the right time for me to transition content and why we've been doing full-time Deadlock for the last year. Now, switching games, of course, has not been easy. You know, I get comments all the time that are like, wow, dead channel, look what he did to his career. And you know what? Totally fair, totally accurate. I understand people are saying those things just to hurt my feelings. But to be honest, they really don't hurt my feelings because it is true, right? We went from playing a game where we were basically the #1 content creator. We were getting, 10,000 views of video, 1,000 viewers on stream, that kind of thing, and having a smaller community now, right? We get 500 views on YouTube. We get ourselves a couple hundred people people on stream. It is a much smaller community. We've got less subs. We make less money. It's totally true. So I understand that, like, there's some people that want to hurt my feelings with that stuff, but genuinely it doesn't. You can't hurt my feelings with it. I went through too much therapy for it. So joke's on you. I'm a well-reasoned individual. Kind of. So moving forward with the channel, what's going to be different now? Well, in an effort to try to revitalize the YouTube channel and to just be a better content creator in general, guys, we're going to be straying away from the 7 videos a week that we've always kind of done on the main channel, and we're only going to do 3, kind of uno, dos, tres videos per week on the main channel. These videos are intended to be much higher quality, much more direct speaking to YouTube style of videos. So think guides, think tier lists, think really fun meme builds where I'm kind of commenting on the gameplay the whole time and not just general VOD uploads. If you want the general VOD gameplay, right, kind of the rips straight from stream, we've got our secondary YouTube with the Incon VOD channel. You can subscribe to that. That is still going to have 7 videos a week, so it's going to have a video every single day if you would like to just watch generically more Deadlock gameplay and you're less interested in like tutorials and that kind of thing and going over reviews of Deadlock gameplay and that sort of stuff. The goal with switching over to 3 videos a week is hopefully to give the YouTube algorithm a little bit more of a boost. Hopefully, with less total content, people will be more likely to click on the videos that they see. And of course, hopefully by improving the quality of the content, hopefully it generically helps us grow within the Deadlock community. I want to be somebody that makes helpful content. I want to be somebody that's fun to be around. You can come watch a good meme video, have a good laugh, or you can come watch a guide and learn a new good build to go test out in your games when you're really feeling competitive. That is really the goal of this channel. I love being a competitive player. I love being a content creator. I love helping people. I love making people laugh. All that kind of stuff is what brings me joy, and I enjoy just the general content creation of it all. We have brought back on Loyal to do our thumbnails here on the YouTube channel because there's only 3 YouTube videos a week. It means that we can afford to get those professional thumbnails going, so hopefully you'll be able to see the difference in the thumbnails as well, be more clickable. Of course, we're going to go for the classic YouTube structure. You know, some of it will be a little clickbaity. The thumbnails will be eye-popping, all that kind of stuff, all the stuff you have to do for the YouTube game. But hopefully the content itself will be a super solid base where you can come, watch enjoyable content, learn some stuff, and at the end of it be like, well, I can't wait for the next video in a couple of days. The release schedule, guys, is going to be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for our videos on this channel. And on Tuesday and Thursday, we're going to upload a short. So you're going to have content Monday through Friday on the main channel, no uploads on Saturday and Sunday, and then you're going to have 7 days a week over on that side channel. So if you'd like to support the Twitchiest community, make sure you're subscribed here on the main channel and the secondary channel. Make sure you're clicking on those videos when they come out, liking, commenting, all of that classic YouTube stuff. And if you'd like to go the extra mile, we've got a couple of sponsors right now that you can support us down in the description below. Cook Unity if you want a good food program, and Dark Epoch if you want a free game to play on your PC. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody, and I'll see you in the next video. And as always, folks, have a Twitchin' day, y'all.